Good morning, lunatics, and welcome to another edition of Morning Java. Morning Java brought to you, as always, by our good friends at the Get Go Cafe and Marketplace, where, Alex, pumpkin spice everything. Literally anything. Sprinkle it on. Are you a pumpkin spice guy?
Not really, but you know what? I used to be. It's kind
Fair.
of fallen out of favor with me, but you know what? There's enough good stuff there that it's all right by me.
Absolutely. And speaking of good stuff, you know whose stuff wasn't so good?
Who's that?
James Marvel. The Pirates were apparently not too impressed by their minor league pitcher of the year. A very strange move, in my opinion.
Very strange move, but just to throw devil's advocate for a second, that was also the previous regime's pick for minor league pitcher of the year. And even though right now most of it is still the same regime, it's not going to be the same in a month.
Yeah, that's a good point. I like that.
But yeah, I mean, I got to know James Marvel whenever he was with Altoona. I made a trip out there in like June, I believe. And I really like how he preps for games. I really like his composure on the mound. But the major league stuff just doesn't blow you away. I mean, if he could somehow Trevor Bauer himself and get like 2 or 3 more miles per hour on that fastball and a couple more 100 RPMs on that breaking ball, then yeah, there's a legitimate pitcher there. But as he stands now, this is kind of what he is at the moment. Just a kind of old AAA pitcher who's pretty good in a spot start, but you don't want to give him that a major league job all year long right now.
It's interesting to me because they bring him up and results-wise, if you're just purely looking at box scores and a stat sheet, results-wise, you can compare him to Mitch Keller as far as his ERA and things like that, but Mitch Keller's strikeouts so much higher. Like you could see with Mitch that, hey, there is something here. Once we can tame the bad stuff with Mitch, there's something legitimately great there. With James, it was just, all right. It's like kind of meh the whole way through, you know what I mean? Not going to blow you away here or be too bad here, but just never hit that ceiling that Mitch might have. So I think that's kind of the difference with those two guys. But I know you're a big Mitch Keller guy, right? So like, what do you see from him moving forward? Is he a guy that they can really rely on to anchor that rotation?
I think so. I think Mitch Keller, if they came into next year as him being the de facto one, him or Joe Musgrove, I think that's fair, which is a lot of pressure to put on a rookie. But I think the slider really developed nicely. He showed that he can get major league strikeouts, which is something really tough. I mean, you brought up the James Marvel, Mitch Keller scenario right there, and it's like, oh, Keller got strikeouts, which sounds like a very simple oversimplification, but it was actually the perfect way to put it. Yeah. Keller was able to know how to put batters away, and yeah, we're talking about 4 starts for James Marvel versus how many did Keller have? A dozen?
Yeah.
Ish. So, yeah, he could pick that up over the course of a couple starts. I think Mitch Keller is going to turn some heads across baseball in 2020. I think the off-speed and breaking stuff is that good. And he has, 96, 97 mile per hour fastball.
That doesn't hurt.
Nah, it's a pretty good thing to have.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready to give up on yet is Chris Archer. They pick up his club option, and I think before his injury towards the end of the season, he started showing some of that life again. And there are little tweaks throughout the season I feel like he was making. And just like we talked about with Mitch, he would show that stuff now and again where you're like, the good Chris Archer they expected they were getting is still in there somewhere. If they can just harness that and have that be every outing. I mean, what are you seeing from Archer?
Whenever Archer came to the Pirates, the big thing that they wanted from him is to start throwing the sinker, the two-seam fastball, because that's what everyone did in the Neil Huntington era Pirates from 2013 to 2019. And it was terrible. It was a bad pitch. And he admits it was not where it needed to be. And he shelved it in June. And if you look at Chris Archer from, I believe it's like June 22nd, whatever that start is against the Padres from right there, if you take his stats from there on through the rest of the season and compare him to 2016 to 2018 Chris Archer, it's the exact same pitcher. So what a surprise. You get rid of the one pitch that he didn't throw from 2016 to 2018, and he's as good as he was from 2016 to 2018. Shocker.
It's such a bizarre concept to me, man. I don't know why my brain goes here with it, but I'm just imagining like a musician and your manager keeps telling you to play this song that he knows you're not that good at playing, and you're like, dude, I can play this other song like perfectly, start to front, but like front to back. But he's like, nah, man, people love this other song. You're like, but I'm not good at that song. Like, why would they make him pitch something that they know is not effective? Like, I literally can't wrap my brain around that.
Well, go back to your music analogy for a second. The best songs are the ones that you can get done in 3 minutes or less.
Very true.
But it was really just a one-stop fix for the Pirates for years. Everyone came in and started throwing the two-seamer. Charlie Morton, Francisco Liriano, J.A. Happ. It was a long list, and for a couple years it really worked. And then the laces changed in the baseball, and then the home runs started picking up, and all of a sudden it wasn't a good idea to start pitching to contacts. And even this last year, if you look at it, the Pirates threw the fewest two-seamers that they have thrown, I think, in the Neil Huntington era.
Nice.
Which is a step, they were going in the right direction, but, going in the step in the right direction really doesn't mean anything whenever you blow everything up.
No, not so much. But with the rest of the team, man, they pick up Marte's option as well, which he's coming off one of his best seasons ever. I mean, he was arguably the best player on the team last year. I feel like that's an argument you can make all around. You've still got Reynolds and Newman to build around, and Josh Bell, obviously. When you look just at position players, where do you see the biggest deficiency for this squad?
Catcher.
Absolutely. I agree completely. What are they going to do there?
It's a good question. Jan Gomes had his option declined by the Nationals, and I think it was something relatively affordable, like $8 million. So he's a year removed from a 2.5 WAR season. That's pretty good. You have to say Grandal, by obligation. He could fit in the budget if they so chose to allocate that much of their resources towards him. Jason Castro, Mike Zunino could be a trade. There were options for them. And this is not a knock on Jacob Stallings, because I think he had a very good, underrated year, especially from someone who had to go from majors to AAA back to the majors and then start building rapport with those starting pitchers. The fact that Chris Archer loved pitching to him, that Joe Musgrove loved pitching to him, and the fact that, he was pretty decent hitter as far as backup catchers go and was one of the best pitch framers in baseball. That's a great sign.
A lot of stuff there. I like that they have a need. They have a clear need at catcher, so that's the perfect opportunity for this new regime to come in and show the city of Pittsburgh, we're going to buy a great catcher. We're going to do what you've never done and what you don't expect us to do. I think if they go out and do that, the whole city will feel great about the Pirates moving forward.
Well, they did that once in 2013 with Russell Martin, and that kind of worked out.
He was all right.